heading outside on this very nice winter day here in the Atlanta metropolitan area in the state of Georgia. Heading over to the park, and I'm going to be talking about football since tomorrow is Super Bowl day, and the Super Bowl is being held downtown Atlanta. So I want to give my commentary, my opinion on this Super Bowl. It's not a traditional viewpoint on it, but I think it's one that's well worth hearing. I used to be a huge football fan, particularly during the 1960s and 1970s. I'm from New York. You see, I have a Staten Island Yankees hat on, a minor league baseball team from Staten Island, though I've lived in the Atlanta area for 35 years. I continue to have some loyalty to New York City. I get back there every year, so I definitely do have a strong feeling toward that area of the country. But my loyalty to football has really waned over the years as I've come to encounter football players and see the physical anguish that many of them go through after playing football, either in college or in the pros for a few years. And a lot of them don't play very long because they get hurt. And if my recollection is correct, what I've heard is if they play less than 4 years, they do not receive pensions. And a lot of them are crippled as a result of their playing. And they may not be completely crippled, but they hobble around. I used to go to a cigar shop where a lot of football players hung out. And this was back during the first decade of the century. And I really got to see it. Early on, I had met a few football players who had many physical problems. But I got to see a lot and talk to them at length. And I really came to understand that what they were going through was horrendous. So it really turned me off to the sport. It made me see it more as the modern version of gladiators. And I don't think that is the best thing for our young people. I know I didn't want any of my children, my 3 sons, to play football. One of them could have. He was a big guy. But I'm so glad he wrestled. But I'm so glad that he did not try out for college football. Sitting down facing the evening sun. So I was talking about football and the inherent violence in the sport. And that's the thing that bothers me the most, is that football is a violent sport. And there's so many injuries and so many players who are not the big stars that often have long careers are hurt in the process of playing. And then once they're hurt, there's nothing for them in football. And they don't play 4 years or longer. There's no protections for them, no health care for them long term. And they've played football all their careers, from high school, they go to college, they play in college, and they don't get paid. Though the colleges make gobs of money off of them. Now, some people say they get scholarships, but the scholarship is not enough. Yes, they get a scholarship, but these football players are making millions of dollars for these colleges. They deserve salaries because they are working all the time. It's their job. And they're being taken advantage of. And we can see that Most obviously when, because they don't get paid. And then when they get to the pros, if they don't play ball, they get blacklisted. And the Kaepernick situation is obviously the worst, where he kneeled down in protest to the murders of so many black young people, and other football players joined him. After he did that, the NFL blacklisted him. He couldn't get work. I can't support a league that would do that. This is a modern day plantation system. It's evil. These, white men that own these football players think they can muzzle black men's right to speak and blacklist them when they talk about things that are important to us as a people, important to these football players as a people. They're walking down the street and can get picked up, get beat, get killed by a cop, and nothing will happen. So as a result, I can't support football. I can't support playing football. Excuse me, some noise. I hope you don't hear it. There's some noise over here. People speaking very, very loudly. But I can't support this. Super Bowl's here in Atlanta, in the city that I live, but I can't support it. I won't be watching it. I just think that it's a violent sport, and I think that the conduct of the league itself is immoral. It's racist. It's as racist as can be, and it violates my conscience to support this kind of activity. So I won't be doing it. I won't be watching it. And I think that we need to hit them where it hurts economically by not supporting it. We need to drive down the ratings, because until the sport modernizes and looks after its players, doesn't muzzle the right of the players to speak, we need to stop supporting it, plain and simple. I stopped watching it years ago because of the violence, as I mentioned earlier, because of seeing people get hurt. But the socio-political concerns that I have over the NFL and football are much larger. They're, much greater concerns. And quite frankly, there's no way in the world that I could, in good conscience, watch the sport, given how badly they have treated the athletes. I mean, Kaepernick was an excellent player, but he can't get a job because he took a knee as a protest. And these people claim to be American. Well, we know how America has always been toward race, and we have always been second-class citizens. They're treating us like we're on a plantation, so we have to boycott them. So I am boycotting the Super Bowl tomorrow. Even though it's in my town here in Atlanta, I am boycotting it. And I would hope that everyone out there would boycott it and show solidarity with Kaepernick and the other players who are tired of being treated as second-class human beings. Thank you, folks, and have a good day.